Okay, so it's important that we can simplify things in this particular standard. One of the things we have to be able to simplify are fractions. So obviously back in year 9 you learned to simplify fractions by saying what multiplies to give that and what multiplies to give this, and therefore what can you simplify it to by dividing by that particular thing. But when we're dealing with the algebraic statements, we need to look for things again that are multiplied. So we have to actually make sure that we've got factors before we start cancelling in an algebraic fraction. So let's have a look at one. If we've got this, there's a temptation here to just cancel out the 2's, which actually works in this particular case, but it doesn't always. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is showing our knowledge. So what we're actually doing by cancelling out with the 2 is we're saying that the top line factorises to give this. So this and this multiplied to give this, this and this multiplied to give 6. If we were to go from here and we went cancel, cancel, we'd be wrong. Because we actually need to cancel this with this, meaning it's a 3, not a 6. Now, it's good enough to be able to go cancel this with this and this, but if you don't cancel with every single part of an expression, then you will be wrong again. So the answer to this is x plus 3. All right? So we need to factorise first. Let's make that a rule. Factorise first, then we can't get it wrong. One of the worst things in doing this, I'm going to move over here for this one, is when you have a situation like this. And people say, oh yeah, okay, I want to cancel the x's, so I'm going to cross that out and cross that out. But this thing at the bottom is a bracket, all right? It's 1, 2. So we need to cancel the whole of that with something that is multiplied on the top line. So you can see I've made these the same so we can do it. This cancels with this, so the answer is x minus 2. Now that's the easy form of it, but what we had on the top line was a quadratic. So therefore we may have been given it in a expanded form and have to actually factorise it first. For example, let's look at this one. Okay, so I've gone jumping really to the difficult now. We need to factorise the top line. So what multiplies to give 6 and adds to give negative 5. So the two numbers are 3 and 2. We need them both to be negative to get negative 5 and both negative to get positive 6. So we've got x minus 2, x minus 3. All right? And the bottom line, what does that multiply to? Factorise to. Right, it has a common factor. That common factor is x, so we take that out the front, and we get left with minus 3. So what we've got going on here is we've got two things multiplied. And as long as what is on the bottom is multiplied and the top is multiplied, then we can cancel that factor. So it's not the x we're cancelling the x minus 3. So we're cancelling that with that, and we end up with x minus 2 over x. Another bad thing, we're tempted to want to go, oh, well, we've got an x on the top and an x on the bottom, so actually the answer is negative 2. Well, of course, that's not right, because this one was not multiplied. We would have needed it to be 6 times negative 2 to be able to be cancelled like that. So that's rubbish. And we go back to what we had. Another way of checking that is, of course, to put a number in. So if we put a number in, let's say 4, 4 minus 2 is 2 over 4, 4 over 2 is positive 2, not negative 2. So this one says that all the time it's going to be negative 2. It's not. I've already found one number that gave it as 2. So therefore that's a load of rubbish. This is the actual answer, and you can't go anywhere from there. So you need to make sure that you have a common factor before you actually multiply. Cancel.